We'll continue with the next halacha in Halacha, which is called tziruf. And we mentioned last week that if you mix together kemach, flour from the 5 grains, you mix it together, you make a dough. L'chol hadayas, all the 5 grains which is mixed together is metzarav to the shir challah, and you can give challah with a bracha. That's when you mix it when it's still flour. But when you have again the 5, let me just go over the 5 grains, which we all know is chit is wheat, soyer is barley, kusmin is spelt, shboile shur is oats, and shippen is rye. But that's only when you mix it together when it was flour. When you mix it together, when there is dough already, you have 2 doughs. One dough is, both of the doughs are less than shir challah. So when you put it together, it becomes a shir challah. So now you can take challah. The shichanoroch in Simmer Shichu V'Dallah Tzif Beis, it depends what kind of minam you're talking about. Not every min it has, in other words, in order to become a chiyuv challah, has to be min b'minoi. And some minam combined together is metzarav challah, and some not. And the shichanoroch states like this. It's important halacha because it's zaken which can be negai lamaisa. So steht the shichanoroch azoi. Chitim, wheat, is sich metzarav tzi spelt. Because chitim and spelt basically is in the zelba min. As we're going to see in a soon, b'chlal spelt is sich metzarav tzi all the other 4 grains. But akaponam chitim is unique and it's only metzarav to koisman. Spelt and wheat, if you have 2 doughs, one is spelt and one is wheat, you put it together, is mechiv challah. But if you take chitim, wheat, a dough from wheat, and you put it together with oats, or you put it together with barley, a dough, or rye, all these things is a snish metzarav tzichala because it's called min ba'ein amino. So again, chitim is the metzarav tzikusmin, to spelt. Soirim is the metzarav to everything but to chita. Soirim and chita is not metzarav. Sheboile shul, which is basically oat, is a metzarav only to soirim, to barley, and to spelt. Shippen is metzarav also to soirim, to barley, and to spelt. Spelt is the best of all, which is metzarav to all of them. So when a person makes 2 doughs, which none of them have chiv challah, and you want to connect it together, in order that you become a chiv challah, you have to know what minim it is, take out the shichanoroch, and push it, see which thing it is goes together, because not all the minim are otorai. Otorai is shippen mit sheboile shul. Yeah? So what's like shichanoroch? No, it doesn't. It doesn't go together.
This is if you don't mix it?
This is, when you mix it when it's flour, there's no question. Everything goes together. But when you take 2 doughs, you want to connect it together, 2 doughs which just have challah, you want to connect it together, it should become chiyuv challah, then we are talking on this thing. But once you have, you mix it together, 5 grains, all the 5 flours together, then there's no question, everything is a mitzvah. Even when you need them together, is a nicht mitzvah. Nor if you make it one mamash ein dough together. But only if you connect it, we're going to see about in the shikha that doesn't go together. Once you make no spelt itself b'chiv b'churus challah, why not? It's one of the 5 grains. One of the 5 grains. Oats also. You make a challah from oat challah is mechiv challah.
Isn't kusemis a part of the wheat family?
The what? That's why we said chitin is a metzarav to koismin because it is in the same family. Exactly. But the kosmin hat noch amala as ich mitzarf has something in common also with Zohar, with all things, so ich mitzarf mit Alef. But Chita is the mitzarf in nothing, only with Koisman, because it's from the same family. Exactly. Oh, is the Shechano, the Machaber, the Besios, what I can't schmiss, al Koisman had a mala, so, es am Chit mit Alleman, Kitzer, to make it short. The what? Yeah, so this. It has less gluten. Yeah, less gluten. It's not gluten free. Yeah. Okay, next. Yeah. Okay. Now once what? Yeah, but again, all of the 5 grains has gluten. It is only the sieve of the percentage. Last week we spoke, even of wheat, if you took out the gluten, we had a whole shayla of that. Even that, yeah, we have a whole shayla of that. Oh, it has also absolute gluten. Last week we had the discussion. The 5 grain has, if not, it could not be chumatz. How could it become chumatz? The gluten makes the chumatz. No, gluten free is because they made it gluten free. But oat by itself is not gluten free. You have all kind of flours. You can take out the gluten. Even machita you have gluten free chita. The whole shallah, matzah, whatever. But akapunam, yes, once you is matzara challah, you can take one on the other. So this is kili sigvan ein teig. It's like one dough, and you can take from one on the other. Well, sigvan matzira, also there is of klur. Okay, so now we said we have two doughs. On what? There's no gluten in Chal.
Saying that
according to Chazal, there is.
The gluten is not gluten. It could be something else. Gluten is the wrong word.
Could be.
The gluten that's an oat from the manufacturing process. Meaning, because they usually do it together and other than together.
No. But how could oats become chometz? That's the question. My question is like this. The gluten.
The starch
is the starch. You don't have
gluten. The gluten is a protein. The starch is in the flour is what the yeast eats the starch and it creates. That's machletis. It's the starch in the flour.
Gluten makes it.
It makes it better. I think you could have it.
Gluten is what makes it sticky.
Make it sticky and that, and that.
In grapes, you have yeast and it makes it bubbly.
So the yeast.
It doesn't have gluten, so it doesn't stay. It doesn't stay. Like when you have a regular thing, it craps it, and that's what makes it nice and fluffy. But wine doesn't have.
Okay, so forget. We got to look into
that's
it.
What I heard.
Lamasa is the as I know, and that's the Mechasischi has all shaila, all the grains which they took out the gluten of matzah, because chomot has, in order to become chomot, has to be gluten. Again, the scientific terms, I don't know the scientific terms. Whatever Chazal, Dover HaMachametz, exactly, Dover HaMachametz. So use a different word, I don't know, use a different word, maybe gluten is not the right word, use the word which is Dover HaMachametz. That was basically the Nikita which we saw last week. But I can put them in any case, in Shechanor Shtayt, that basically all the 5 grains is Metzarov, so there's Nish Kashim Shalom. Now, what did you say? We have two doughs, which both of them are less than Shir Challah. It could be Metzarov, in order to become a Chiv Challah. Now there is basically four ways how you Metzarov Megalim, which you're going to go through all the 4 things. The first thing means Tzirev means you put both in a keli. You have a keli which has machitzas, and you put in the keli, or you have a basket, or whatever it should be, you put it in the 2 doughs, and the keli is a metzaref that becomes kili 1 dough, and sevet mechi b'challah. That's called tzirev al dai kli or sal. Then there is a tzirev which is called kisi pas, mamapa. You have you take your 2 chalas, and you don't have, let's say, for instance, a keli. So you take a towel, or you take any material, or even a bag, which is also good, and you put in the 2 doughs on the mappa, on the towel, and you cover it from the bottom till the top, and it's covered. That makes it like a kli, and it says that this is as if it's one dough, and now you're mechiv b'challah. In Kamiva, all this, what we're saying mechiv b'challah means mechiv b'chayol, once upon a time, b'daraisa, today everything is b'drabonan, and you make a bracha. This is mechiv b'challah normal, regularly. That's the number 2, kisi mapa. The third thing is, which is called neshicha. Neshicha means you take 2 doughs, you connect it together, you put it right next to each other. You don't have a keli. Yeah, you have 2 on the counter, you have 2 doughs, and both are less than the sheet. You take the 2 doughs, you put it together, and you connect one piece of dough with the other piece of dough. That means connected means not that it touches, it gets connected. That when you peel it off, the one piece of dough, you peel it off from the other one, it will take along a drop, it will come over. That means you connected it together. That's called like neshicha. It's noishich. It bites one dough to the other dough. There's the other way of the poskim, shechnurich shtayt, that sometimes you have 2 doughs, and you take a third dough, a piece of dough, you make like one piece of, a long piece of dough, and you take one, you connect it with the other piece. Again, the Nikitas Hadurim is you connect 2 pieces of dough by connecting it as if it becomes one piece. That's number 3. And the 4th thing is called Al-Dai Tzirif Tanit, which basically Shechnur Chas V'Sharuga bring, which if we were to get to it, basically, we don't hold Lamaisla, Aluch Lamaisi, we don't do Tzirif Tanit. So basically we have the 3, which we are Tzirif Tanit. In Shechanur Chas Machloikas, Shreblezim mit Rebshia, if you do Tzirif Tanur or not Tzirif Tanur, we're going to get to it Sinagaya for Insa Bissel, but we're going to let's get to there. If the tanner itself, the bake it together, let's say you have a tanner, which is a pizza tanner, and one is on one place, one other place. The essence that it's one tanner, if it is like a kli or not. And again, the Rambam Shechanuch don't bring it at all. We'll see why not, since the guy is on Chazach. The what? If it is in the same keli, it doesn't have to touch. But pashkas. Now we're going to go into every loch. We're going to see it's not 100%, but we're going to see how it is.
Sometimes people they make, let's say you have a piece of dough that's exactly a little bit less than a share, and sometimes people what they do, they sprinkle raw oats or raw things like that on top of the dough.
Flour or pieces of
actual pieces. Is that something that's
that means you're putting together? It's not flour. It's not a dough. How could you get it together? If you put together, it's extra. You put extra. What is it called? Flour. It shouldn't stick. There's achnes matzaraf. Sheikh Nur Shait Ochet that if you put in real what is it called? Real choymetz, se'oyer, real se'oyer, sourdough. If you put in sourdough, which then let's say you're on the verge of a sheet challah, it misses a drop, and then you take a piece of sourdough, you put it together. Now you have a sheet. That's also good. If the se'oyer wasn't taking challah yet, if it was so then it's a matzaraf, because after all, the regular dough yeast we cannot, because that's chemicals. It's not a part of a dough. But if you have a piece of sourdough and you put together with challah, that's also matzaraf. Or the flour that you put on the table, all the things are matzaraf. Okay, so now let's go divide halachas, every tziruf, how it works. Tziruf challah, tziruf kli in sal is you could do it when it's dough, and also you could do it when that is already baked. That means after you bake the challas, you didn't take challah. Some people will want to do this when it comes to sourdough, because we're going to see sourdough is each sourdough is an individual pot. So someone want to do that after you bake it, you put it together in one bag, or you put it in one together in a keli, and then you take off challah. That's the isa, and when it's already bread. A plastic bag, is also good enough in order it should be considered as a sal. It's also a sal. It takes it together. Rav Wosner wants to say that even though it is a disposable sack, I don't care. As long as it is a sale, it's not Hashem Kashem Kaila, like in Hilchas Tahara, that basically has to be Hashem Kaila. If you throw it away, Hafish Kedim Kaila, since it is a thing which is mechaba together, so therefore he says, I don't care, put it together in one bag. It is matzaraf the lachala. So the easiest way, if a person wants to make it, if he has a big pot and he wants to put the chalas, okay, that's good. If you don't have a big pot, put it in a shopping bag, and you get it together. And then it's okay in order to become tziruf challah. It is kedai, the poskim say, that all the yeast, the whole dough and the same challah should be in the walls of the keli. It should be in the walls of the keli. But poil, if it sticks out a drop, b'di'evet, it's okay. It's choch b'tzaref. Aber akapunim lekitchila, we want it should be everything should be covered. And that's why you're going to see in the matzah bakeries, the matzah bakeries usually have a big box, a wooden box, and the matzahs are standing, and a drop goes above the box. With lekitchila you could do like this, you could take out challah like this, because roiv is in the box, but again, lekitchila we say that it should be, everything should be in the box, and therefore you're going to see, at least in the matzah bakery, which in Pupatzelem, they cover it with some kind of material, and this is how they take challah, because they want to be lekitchila, that it should be, everything should be in the box. Some bakeries has like a big boxes, which is very much taller than the matzahs. There's a vadagi. With a paper on top. Yeah. Oh. Not only that, lekitchila steht in the poiskim, samachlok the Rishonim, and lekitchila, the Rishonim say that it has to be connect, it has to touch. Again, samachlok the Rishonim, but the kids are case of in Siman Shechuvuv, he writes, and it passes like that, like the Rishonim which say that lekitchila it should be together. That means if a person, before somebody asked if it is in one keli, does it need to touch? So again, we are passing that lekitchila you should do it, since the Rishonim say it has to be connected. In the kids' case, it goes with that shita. So therefore, lekitchila we try that it should be touching one challah. It doesn't have to be connected as we mentioned before, neshicha, but at least it should be connected right next to each other, and it should touch. Once it touches, then it's okay. L'chala dies. L'maaseh b'de'evet, the Alter Rebbe, Shechanurach again, or the Alter Rebbe, when we see Alter Rebbe, it's always, you should remember, it's in Tofni Zayin. The Alter Rebbe doesn't have any Yeridaya. It's in Tofni Zayin Pesach. The Alter Rebbe has, the poskim have Hilchas Chala Os and Hilchas Pesach. The Shechanurach, the Pri Megudim, the Alter Rebbe. So in Alter Rebbe, Zut L'maaseh b'de'evet, if it doesn't touch, is this ochagit. But Hakapunim L'kitchila, we have to make sure it should touch. So therefore, when people are making sourdough, now sourdough, there isn't a shir challah. If you make one sourdough, or even two, I'm not sure even two, you have enough flour to make challah dough. But if a person makes 4 pieces of challah doughs, and challah dough is, the way how it's made, is you put it into a special pot, a cast iron pot. So therefore, you make separate doughs, and even if you take the pots, all the 4 parts should be connected, is like lekitchila we don't want it, because lekitchila we have a Rishonim which says it has to touch. So therefore, the lekitchila, if you make more shir challah, when you make shir challah, that means once it's baked, it's a shir challah. After it's baked, because again, before it's baked, it's a part of the process, you're not going to take it out of the pot, it belongs in the pot. But after you bake it, you put together all the challas together, and you cover it, as I mentioned, or you put it into a kli, or you cover it with a towel, or you put it in the bag, and then then you take it off. Because lekitchila we want, it should be connected one right to each other. It shouldn't be anything hefsek between the two things.
You have 4 pots, and you put a cover over all 4 pots.
9. The Sach Poskim says it's not good. It's not good enough, because it's a hefsek. If it's tevel, the poskim say in such a case we should take off again without a bracha. While it's do poskim help, it's okay. Some poskim told us if you cover it together, and so it's nicht b'de'evet is nicht, aber the askumas achroin as manayni the derech hamina mit ravozna midus say in such a case they put it together afterwards and take off a piece afterwards. Una brucha kimivim, because we have other Rishonim which says that it doesn't have to be connected at all. It doesn't have to be nogim. So therefore, it is,
This is the chatzil you're not supposed to take from the Esau?
If you could connect it together, take all 4.
You have a big Esau sourdough.
Then that's not a problem. Yeah. If you have one big flour, there's not a problem. I'm talking when you have small, separate sourdoughs. A person doesn't make one big sourdough.
So when you have a regular, don't forget sourdough, regular challah, you take from the thing, and then you divide it into...
Yeah, then this is how do you do it.
The same thing with the sourdough. What's the difference?
Yeah. Sourdough doesn't go like that. It's a different material. You have to know how to do it. You don't follow the books.
No, you make it in one bottle. Then after you take challah, then you divide it. I'm asking you something. Yeah. The shears, I make it, it's each loaf is 1,700 grams. That's over the shear challah. No?
Yeah, I can put them over the shear challah of without a bracha. Yeah.
It's okay, man. Those are not touching and you cover it. It's not much.
Oh, he says, sorry. Let me go next halacha and then we come back to this. Now, you have separate kalim, and you put all the kalim, let's say you have 4 pots of sourdough, you're putting it into a gigantic pot, or in a closet, the marsham redving up closet. You have a closet, which in the closet there's divisions. Yeah? So, is it mitzaref or nicht mitzaref? According to the Rishonim, what? You have a big movable box. You have like the master bakery box. You have the box like the master bakery box. Or you have a big box, whatever the box you have.
Not a closet in the wall.
You can have a closet in the wall too.
How's that a kli?
Exactly. You're right. It's like a tanir. You're right. I'm not talking a cabin which is mechiber. A tanir which is not mechiber lekarka. Oh, you have a box or you have a toy chest, whatever you want to put it. I have like a big container, you know. The matzias you have to figure out yourself. But the what? Okay, so now you have like this. You have four pots which together have a tzir of challah. Together it has a shir challah. You're putting it into a big, let's say, a box. What you say? What is it called? A proofing box. Okay, and the walls are taller than the walls of the outside box is taller than the pot. What is the halacha then? Is the masham, the bejan the roof writes that even though it is a separate pot, since it is in a kli which it has the walls is higher than the other walls, if they would do the same thing, but since it is higher than the other walls, so it's as if everything with both it's really one kli, and then it's okay. In Azoy Paskin the bejan the roof, it says such a case. If you put it so in a case like this. If you take the same thing, if you take a towel or you take a bed sheet, you cover it for all the way, all 4 together, it's not a problem because Ksav is go together, although it's separate boxes.
That's surrounded top and bottom.
Yeah, so let's go to the pashta surround the top and bottom. Yeah. Mitzaref means a bracha. Also is a bejan roof. In Azoy paskin the mishtabrire in Chespaisach paskin Azoy. Or if so, the farmers which is higher than the other one, I have no issue. It's okay, it's fine. But the Pesachazita and the Migdish Ma'at, a bunch of other Gdoli Achroinim, say it's totally the Machloikas if Tzir of Sal needs to have Negi or not. Remember we mentioned before, there's a Machloikas of Rishonim, some Rishonim wants to say that even Tzir of Sal has to need a Negia. So of course there's no Negia over here. So therefore, it's totally the Machloikas. And therefore, no, it's a kapul masufak, kes shtemme mit abruch. Then we have Achroin in the Torah Seuretz, for the Moshe clears, he says, everybody is moed in such cases is mitzaref. When is the Machloek needs tzirav? If they're using the hefsek. You have a dough here, you have a dough here, nothing divides him together. Divides him. So therefore, daf nagir, daf nishan nagir. But he says, in such a case, then there's walls between it. Although all the 4 are in a bigger keli, which has walls higher than that. But since between one dough and another there's a wall, halter is mitzaref, is put b'chala. So therefore, in such a case, again, we have a bejan roof, we have one side, we have a Torah on the other side. In such a case, again, we should take it out and don't go into such a shilas. And once you take it out, you put it in one bag, then you can make challah b'bracha. Why should you play around when you have poised? We say that it's not even it's important challah. So therefore, in such a case, again, is you should take it and take it out. And therefore, even when you have a towel, you take it around, surround it all the way, it is azoivi the shala, which is in a big kaili. And you have a Torah students will say, since something divides the two chalas is not good, you should take out challah dough, all the four, whatever you have, once it gets shir challah, and put it in a bag, take off a piece, and then everything is shalom al Yisrael. That's the ideal thing to do, and then you can make them out regular with the bracha. The ideal thing should be a negia. Yeah.
So if you have, let's say dough in two different kelim, so you make sure it's negia and then cover it with a towel.
Make sure to.
So put this negia and then cover it with a towel. Have two
if it is in a kela,
two bowls of challah.
Yeah.
Challah. Let's say regular challah. 2 bowls of challah.
Yeah.
I need to make sure there's negia.
Yeah. In such a case, you should negia, and then you cover it. Then you cover it. Yeah. Do how many is there machlokas?
How do you do negia?
How you take a piece of dough and put it.
Oh, you're talking about neshicha. Yeah, snake. That's called neshicha. That's a different halacha. We're gonna get to that. That's not that. What? You're talking about neshicha. We're gonna get to neshicha soon. First, come the kids at Vurim is. As when we say it becomes one tzirav bekli has to be benoisev. It should be in one kele. It should also have negia according to some Rishonim. So therefore, this is the ideal thing which we should do. Take it out and put it in one bag, and that should be. We get to neshicha and extra. This is the extra deal.
Basically, if you have different kelim, and you put a towel on top of everything, it's not a tzad.
It is mitzvah. You mean if it's not the bottom? If it's not the bottom and the top, what do you mean?
There's two different. One is a towel on top, and one is kelim underneath.
Yes. Oh, but no. When we say a towel, I did not say towel on top. This is what you said. I did not say such a thing.
Was the cover.
But I didn't say how you cover. We're going to get to that halacha soon. So machlokes der Rishonim and der Gifa. Does it need to be one cover all around, or it's enough on top of it? So again, that's the extra. With him, ich will gehen alla side. I didn't say on top. We're going to see on top soon. We're going to get to that. Now, if you have a bunch of chalas, we just said that like if it's a separate kelim, then and there's no negia, is a problem. What is if you make challah? Every challah you put in a separate bag, and then you take all the bags, you put it in one keli or in one shopping bag. Is it matzaref or not? Maybe it's like keli that there's a hefsek between the two chalas because every challah itself is individual, also in a bag. Yeah, and this negai ochad in freezer. Sometimes in freezer, you put it together in separate in one big tray. You put it in small bags. And they put it in one big bag. Is it matzaref in the one big bag or not? Zuk, what? I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the freezer should be matzaref. I'm talking you baked chalas, every challah in a separate bag, and then you put it in one big garbage bag. Putting in, another putting it in. All these things, the freezer matzaref, that goes into the shala, like about tanur. That goes in, we will get to that separate halacha again. When you have, I'm giving a marshal, which is a marshal which I can put on. I saw it by my parents' house. Used to bake, putting in a garbage bag, and then you used to bake again, or that week or the other week, and every challah was in a separate glad bag, small bag. Then they put it in one big garbage bag. Zukt of them, the Derchamina, Reb Chaim Kanievsky has a sefer on Rama Milchas Bikurim, which is Hilchas Challah, and Mekruah Kodesh. All of they say in Hilchas Paisach, he says, such a case, a bag is tougher to the challah, and that's not a division. Even the poskim which say that the two challahs, which everybody has a hefsek in the middle, it's not good. A bag does not, a separate bag does not make a division. And if all of them are in one big shopping bag or in one big garbage bag, then sich matzarav and chaladais and the kemach na brucha oichet. Now, another wichtig halacha. When you have a keli, you put everything in a keli. Yeah, you have a big bowl, you're putting in chalas, it's connected. You know, it's negia, alles is fine, alles is kosher. Now you have bilkelach. You have small bilkelach. And you put it on top also. Yeah? So what happens? There will be a challah, a bilka, which this bilka is totally on top of the kele. Again, when you have the whole 3/4 of the challah is in the keilah and a drop is on top. We mentioned before, mitzvahs, but the Evid is okay. But when you have, sometimes you can have such a case that you put everything into a big bowl and you put on top a small bulkala, and the bulkala is totally ganzen hechen fin alechem sholem. Then you have to cover it. In such a case, you have to make sure, if you see that there's some which is not, even by the Evid, it's not a problem. Weil der begann nicht in der Keile zusammen, in Mamayla, and if you took out one of the bulkas to take challah and all the rest of things, so the Chroin was da noch mal machen, das da noch mal nehmen challah. Nein, das ist noch halt unabrucha. Weißt du, was gibt es der Brucha, they're afraid? Aber nehm noch mal challah. Because again, you took something which is nicht curious and in the geworden, and therefore, then you take again challah. Whenever you took challah from a piece which is not machif to take challah, it's less than the shear, even without a bracha, and then you see you took challah, is a skila to challah, and you could be matzar of this piece also to a other dough which is less than the shear, and together if you have a shear, that will be fine. Then you can make a bracha. Because when you take challah from a thing which is not a klur mechaber, when you take something from a challah from a thing which is not machib challah b'chalal, is ki'ili lehoyu, you didn't take challah b'chalal, and you can be matzaref. Just one thing I want to add. Last week, which we brought up, Chaim Moshe and Shlomo brought up the same thing, is when you have things which you took challah without a bracha. Yeah? You have things which you took challah without a bracha, and you put it together in one bag, and let's assume it's the same meal. Everything is the same. You made honey cookies and less than a shear. And it's very important halacha with Gedenk, because it's a thing which is a common thing about the Babas. Yeah. They have a cookie jar. Yeah, the old one. When you turn as a Babi or Razedi, you have to buy a cookie jar. That's one of the things which you have to have lollipops always at home, and you have to have a cookie jar because. So you bake cookies less than the shear. Yeah, you put it in the cookie jar. Then next week when you make challahs, you bake more cookies and also less than the shear. You put it together. You put it together. Now you have a cookie jar. It has a shear challah. So therefore, it's a matzaref, and you have to take challah. And even if you have things which you took challah b'loi brucha, because again, as we mentioned before, why we take challah b'loi brucha. And now you took it, you put it into one big bag, or you put it in one big garbage bag in the freezer, or you put it in a cookie jar, and now you have a shir challah. You have to take challah again. I wouldn't say you should make a bracha again, also because maybe the last shir which you did last time was your shir, and you took off challah already. Aber akapunam, maybe also the poskim is as nicht mitzaref gewein, and therefore now is the atzir of gomer. Now I have a shir challah. In such a case. What? Even after the fiyah. Why not? You can take challah, which tzirif goes after the fiyah.
Do it because there's no other choice. My matzah we do it after.
Of course, we make it afterwards. But any small thing we do it after the fiyah. We have to any challah though. People who don't want to do it, you take it after the fiyah. It's not a big deal. It's not come by the Evid. So therefore, in such a case. You put it together, and you took taka last time roy bracha. Take out now again, also without bracha. It's interesting. Abai, my mama, misgen. I want to. Ich will nicht. Was der von seinem Frimme was an Weis werden. Du dachtest bei der Kiva. Eigentlich sie eine von der Postcom wants to say in such a case, you should take off from every challah from every piece a piece, because you don't want to take off mi achiv ala pator. So, but again. Don't pressure. Don't put too much pressure because the women will throw you out. You're putting in a bag. You have challas. Yeah, in one bag, nice flat one bag challas. On top you have. It's not a practical lucha, which I'm going to say now, but again, it brings up like a lucha, like I'm einprat. And you have a dough. Then you have another dough, you have other 3 doughs, you put one together. And the oibishte dough, all of them are dough from chita. Wheat dough. But in the middle, there's a piece of dough, which is potem in a challah. No, how is it put in a challah? Shaykh lagoy. Let's say. Yeah? Shaykh lechoy. Ob sie heilig was hat sich a Platz, was putz mit einer Halle, is a big machloikes at Hashonim, again, achronim, it's not Hashonim, it's achronim, the Gila Kodesh. Just want to, you should know, this is a Sefer Gila Kodesh, the Migdash Ma'at, Toiris Ures, all of them are Svorim, from Friedige Gedoyle Yisrael, and Cheschala. So just you should be familiar with the Edus. Gila Kodesh is, I would say, a few hundred years old, so he brings down a whole thing, there's a machloikes, apostle Masif Matzaraf, in Mamaila, in order such a case, if it happens, take out that goyish dough and put it together, it should be a regular tziruf. But if you have a dough which is your dough and was took already challah, why did you say before? If you have a dough between the two doughs which is chiv challah, something which is potim and challah, is a sufik tzich matzar v'danish. So now you have three doughs. The number one is Nochashkin Mechala, has less than a shear. Number 3, less than a shear, Mechiv Mechala. And they have a middle, you have a dough, which is Mechiv Mechala, and it was taken already Chala. So now the Chala, which is in the middle, is also Puter Min Chala, because it was taken. Such a case is the Chiyom Tzaref. Why? Because of course, it's not Petor. A goyish dough is Poter Min Chala. So therefore, it's divided, the two doughs, and therefore, it is chshmetzara. But since you have the dough in the middle, which is a Yiddish dough, which was take challah, now it's not potem and a challah, it's tuk already challah. In such a case, is a chshmetzara, and it's not a problem. Another interesting halacha. What?
Of course, the opinion is every negia. If it's on the same kala, what's the chiluk?
If it's in the same galia, but if it's not in the same kala, it's one on top of the other.
What's the tziruf?
The tziruf is one. It's connected. Yeah. Another interesting, there's a chinuch, one of the Rishonim, chinuch, in mitzvah shim by we see as a very interesting halacha, but we don't take it for a halacha, but it's kedai to know. The chinuch wants to say that tziruf of lachamim is only once you take it right away when you take it out of the oven. You take it out of the oven and you put it into a basket. Take it out of the oven, putting it into the basket. If you took out the tavnit, what is it called, the tavnit? The pan, you put it on the floor or on the table, and you took out another pan, and you put it on the right other table. In such a case, it's Nishukan Tziruf. Only Tziruf when right away, you took out the challah, and you put it into the basket, is a chizmetzaraf. But Lamasa, again, the Poiskim does not agree with the chinuch la'alocha, and as a pashtus mishtimus shechinuch doesn't say such a thing tziruf. When he talks about tziruf, he doesn't mention such a thing, has to be right away in the sal. So achronim say, in such a case, you can make is mit tziruf, and even with abrucha. Even with abrucha. Mishtimus shechinuch, even with abrucha, and it's okay. Tziruf is also even below kavona. Again, as I mentioned before, I gave you the mashal of a cookie jar or a freezer, which you have a bag which you're putting in cookies, honey cookies. You're baking beginning of Elul, you're baking honey cookies, and you know you're going to have a lot of guests for sukkahs. And you're baking the next time you bake challah, you bake more honey cookies. You don't have a shear usually when you make honey cookies, a shear challah, and you're putting it together into one big bag. You have a big bag. All the honey cookies go together. Now you have no kavanah to be mitziref. You just store it in because you know you want it to be together. Tziref does not have to do with kavanah. Even if not without kavanah. The eitzem zach is mitzaref, that it's enough, you put it together, it's brief. Es du achroidim es willen zugen, hepach kavanah, der chamine wants to bring b'shem the das kedoshim, that hepach kavanah, if I have kavanah, I want to put it in, but I don't want it to be mitzaref, that could help. But if not that, the eitzem zach, it is in one bag, automatically it gets mitzaref, and it's fine. Another thing is very important to know. You took the cookies, you put it in the bag, and right away you chapped, oy vay, I put it in the bag, now it's b'chi b'challah. And I don't want to give challah, I don't know why, but the kapunim weistach, she takes you right away out, to cover. It's tough luck. Tziruf is not, has to be over there for a year, or for 50 minutes, or for, tziruf is the minute, which is, what? Even b'shoigig, without kavanah, this we said before, and even for a second. There's no time limit how long it has to be tziruf, and therefore, once you put it in together, the cookies are one bag, you have to make sure it gets mitzirif. Where is it the Gaia? I gave a much of honey cookies. Well, I'm going to give you a more practical thing. It's practical after Purim. After Purim, when Baruch Hashem Kanai Nahara, you got Mishloach Munas from 275 people, and everybody 6% their cookies which they made. And b'derech klal, people do not make shir challah. Maybe when you send for 300 people, you make a shir challah. But if you send for a couple of people, you don't make a shir challah cookies or rogalach, etc. So you don't have to take challah. It's less than even the shir. Then it comes in the shishim pina when you got to clean up all the shmeshlechamunas, and you take all the bottles in one box, and you pick all the cookies in one box, and all the cakes in one box. Putting all together, you put it now in one box or in one bag. Is a chematzarav mechiv b'challah. And du kimt around Davis had gesucht, and der Chaim sucht klur. Der Chaim sucht, and he says, from Piram, that's from bris. Kiktos used to be the meaning that when a person made a bris, everybody sent cookies, cakes. So then he says, whatever's left over, people take it in the bag. And you're right, huh? The what?
The ganze cookies.
Oh, the ganze cookies, yeah, that's it. Okay.
This only applies when people didn't took yet
challah. Yeah, if they took challah again, they go out then.
If you buy from a bakery,
yeah, if you want to buy a bakery, they took challah. It's a systematic. They have shiurim, the big shir.
You don't know. They don't take
do kim taran, which I mentioned before. Since we don't know, ich denke, ich weiß, Sie sucht es. Ich meine, lass mich sehen, ich kann es verzeichnen. Ich meine, der Kiva Eiger, so liegt mir in den Kopf. Ich meine, der Kiva Eiger, one of the Achronim, the Gdoli Achronim, right? In such a case, sucht take off from every piece a piece, because you don't know who took it, who don't took it. You can't be, and Machiv ala Patar. So take off from every, and maybe the Rechaim even says like this. Take off for every piece, maybe the Rechaim sucht das so. Take off for every piece, a stickel. Ich habe schon gewollt zugen, mein Chamor geht Chamoisch, wird jetzt unheimlich zu nehmen, but Akapunam, okay, now another thing. The Alter Rebbe passed, auch the Machloikes Achronim, again, this is the constantly Machloikes Achronim, but the Alter Rebbe passed that you could only be Metzaref, dough to dough, and bread to bread, chalas to chalas, baked to baked, and raw to raw. You cannot take, you have a challah which is baked. This is a challah which I had more than once. I forgot to take challah on the first batch, and now it's baked. And now I'm making a second batch. Can I, so to speak, take one time challah on both? Is matzarav. So the Alter Rebbe klur is in Zayin, Sif der Zayin. That we own, again, not everybody agrees. There are some which say it goes together, but most Achroinim, aber in Befrad Alter Rebbe, Einu in Achar HaMelech, he says that basically that we don't Metzaref Challah, only dough to dough, Challah to Challah.
And then we have to wait to finish making the next batch, and then could
exactly. This is exactly what you should do. You should do Challah. No, wait till you finish. Take one Challah. Except if this dash is Mechiv Challah, and this dash is Mechiv Challah, every separate is Mechiv Challah. That's not a problem. You take from the dough, and you take from the Challah. It's not a problem. If
earlier batch doesn't have enough left, you have to take Challah. You remember, by the time you remember, there's less fat. I already ate from Challah. There's less left.
No, wait with Challah is no problem. Huh? If it has a shir Challah, even if you ate it in Frat Challah Chistos, we don't have a problem. If you made a dough, you make challah, yeah, and you forgot to take off challah, and you ate up 3 challahs, and now you don't have a shir challah, is nicht mechiv challah, because sie geworden mit frei challah, the eitzim zach, and that's why in Chisla Uras you could do it like a triller.
So what's the problem with the West? What's the shayla?
To what?
What's the problem?
You shouldn't be. When you have tzirah. You have a dough which is less than the shear. You have the challah was less than the shear, and you want them together. It should be metzaraf. You cannot metzaraf. You put the dough and the challah in one basket or in one bag or in one whatever. Zugal Rabbanan. You cannot do it. Dough and challah does not get together. It's separate things.
And if the person took challah from the raw, and what's baked is not shir challah.
Does not have a shir challah.
Doesn't have a shir.
It never had. That means it was when you made the dough. It was a shir.
Part of one thing.
It was one part of one. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you should bake everything.
Yeah, but let's say the person forgot.
No.
So they took challah from the raw challah.
Yeah.
The raw dough.
Yeah.
Now
what? Ich habe kein Ziruf. I don't need Ziruf. No. You can take over from this also. We are speaking about Metzarav Zan. We have something which is Mechiv Challah. And I want to be Metzarav, which has become Mechiv Challah. But if you had a dough, which is Mechiv Challah, right away it's Mechiv Challah. So now you baked it. What's the difference? I'm talking when you have to have tzirif. You have two things. You want to be matzaraf. You cannot be matzaraf two kinds of those. As we're going to see next week, that even dough, which is basically the same dough, you makbet al tarivas, is also nish matzaraf. So kolsh can do dough and challah is nish matzaraf, and therefore you should take separate challah, or bake everything and take challah afterwards. Okay, we're going to stop here. We're going to be a mamshich this coming week.